I think the best advice I can give you is, even though your imposter syndrome might not necessarily go away, I think there's a good comfort in you bettering your skill and just doing the very best you can, because that's all we can do. Whenever we wake up, whenever we go to work, or whenever we pursue a hobby, such as I'm doing here, all we can do is just take it each day at a time, learn as much as we can, and try to improve on our skills, try to better our skill, and try to improve our craft. That's all we can do. There's no way we're ever going to know everything, even in a particular field. It's very difficult for you to know every single facet of that field. However, we can strive to know more and more each day. Hello, and welcome to Kitchen Table Advice. My name is Paola, and I am the host of this podcast. This podcast is a safe place where you can ask for any advice you want. It can be relationship advice, both platonic or romantic, career advice, or life advice. I wanted to create a safe place where you can ask for your advice without fear. My purpose here is to serve as a guide and give you a different perspective for you to eventually both find your purpose in life as well as your voice. As a reminder, every name will be anonymous and your identity will always be kept a secret. This is not professional advice, and I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist. Just think of this as advice you would get from a close friend on a kitchen table. So, let's begin. Hello, my wonderful gems. How are you? I hope you're doing amazing. If you're a returning gem, welcome back. If you're new here, hello, how are you? Make sure you test out the vibe. And if you like what you're listening to, then please feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. Alright, so as usual, we just jump into the first story of the episode. So, the title of the first story is, How Can I Manage Imposter Syndrome During the Early Stages of My Career as a Young Woman? Alright, let's dive in. I'm a 25-year-old woman, and I'm only about 2 years into my career, and I feel so unmotivated and unremarkable. I'm usually the youngest on any team I join, and I am constantly struggling to speak and maintain confidence during meetings/presentation because I feel like everyone is way ahead of me in terms of both knowledge and skill. Sometimes I feel so self centered because I know no one really cares about my little mistake, but I can't help but feel like every moment in my life is an opportunity to be judged and assessed. I know I am competent, and I've had many people acknowledge my competence and quote unquote potential, but I am tired of feeling like I have potential that will never materialize. How do you not compare yourself to other people? I feel like I'm falling short of my own standard, and I have nothing empowering or remarkable since I started. At what point in my career would I feel like I finally get it? At what point would finally stand on my own 2 feet with confidence? I was a straight A student through college, so this experience has really been difficult to adjust to. I feel such a strong need to cower and hide and waste away in a corner. Do you have any advice on how to manage imposter syndrome? Wow. Okay, we will just dive in. It's about dang on time we got an advice about imposter syndrome. Wow. Okay. So, first thing first, it is good that your coworkers are reassuring, because most of us, like the smartest people in the world, have imposter syndrome. From Oprah Winfrey to Steve Jobs. I don't know what is up with this, but it's like, I guess, especially when you've been in a highly what's it called? When you've been in an intense environment where you always have to show up and make sure your competency level is top notch. I don't know why, it's just like people like that just tend to have imposter syndrome. But you need to remember something. You are at this job and you were given this position because of your competency. And I really love the fact that your coworkers are there reassuring you, but you just need to remember something. Imposter syndrome is all in your head. It's not an actual thing. You're fearing not being good enough, or you're fearing not being confident. Basically, you're fearing you're out there as an imposter. That's what it is, right? You know you have the skills, but you just don't know where how it measures up to other people. And the thing about this is, I think a best way I have been able to calm down my imposter syndrome a little bit is, especially if you've been a straight A student, this can be fairly easy for you. Just look at what you've done in your life. and look at how much you've accomplished, how far you've been, and look at those stuff. Even when things were challenging, even when it didn't pan out according to how you thought it would pan out, what did you do? 9 times out of 10, you picked yourself back up. You read a book, or you became more knowledgeable, or you even asked questions. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to not have all the answers, especially when you're in this mindset of you've been a straight A student your whole life. It can, for some, it can be their identity, which is why I tell you your intelligence is not your identity. Not because I don't think you should pursue a higher education, or I think higher education is nonsense. I value higher education, which is why, hello, I'm here. But I think it's also important for us to not attach our identity to our perceived intelligence, because that's all it is. It is perceived intelligence. It's not actual intelligence. It's just perceived, how you stack up against what is considered average or standard. But anyways, I'm not gonna go on a tangent about what is average and standard of intelligence. But just focusing on imposter syndrome, you need to know you were given this position and you got this job and you're in this career field because of your competence, because of every single thing you've accomplished in college or master's program or high school, wherever. You're here because you are needed here. Your unique set of skills are needed here. And you're, again, I like, you have really good coworkers, because some coworkers will actually say because you're young, they won't listen to you, because even people who just look young, appear young, they're not taking that seriously, because apparently when you're young, that means you're dumb. I'm not saying that, but that is a perceived notion in our society. Just the young and dumb narrative. It just goes hand in hand. Back to imposter syndrome and back to you being young, or even you just looking young and having a baby face. For some reason, when you appear young in the world, you don't get taken seriously. That's one of the facets of you having a young face. Yes, it can get you places, and it can make yes, it can get you in some areas, but one of the crutches of youthfulness is you don't get taken seriously. People don't listen to you. They don't think you have a viable opinion because you look like a kid. Oh, you're young. Let's dismiss her. However, when you're in a situation like this, you have to stand down in your confidence. This is not you yelling or you trying to be someone else. It's you stating your facts and staying true to who you are. Eventually, people will want more to you. Eventually, people are going to lend you an ear. It might be frustrating where I've had this happen to me sometimes. It can be really frustrating when people keep asking questions and it seems like they're just nitpicking, or they're not taking you seriously, or they don't want to hear what you have, or they're trying to find faults. But you just need to remember that people are different. Some people do ask questions because they really do not understand and they need you to clarify, whereas other people will ask questions to try to catch you in a in try to catch you in something, and then to use that example as a way to demean your intelligence. But you have to be confident in what you bring to the table. And again, a lot of us deal with imposter syndrome, a lot. I don't know if it really ever goes away, because it's just one of those things that it comes with the territory, and a lot of intelligent people have gone through it. I haven't read any books about how to completely do without it. However, I just know that you perfecting your craft, you learning your skill, you diving deeper into your skill is going to give you that confidence. And lastly, you have to believe in yourself. You must believe in yourself, and you have to believe in your skills. You were here for a reason. You've passed all your classes, you've gone through all the training that needed to be done, and you passed it with flying colors. So you have to if for some reason you can't put confidence in yourself, then at least put confidence in the fact that you were able to pass through all of those stuff. And secondly, you are, how old is she? And secondly, you're 25. You're so young. And not, again, not to demean you, but you are so young and there's a lot to learn. You're only 2 years into your career. You're not going to learn everything in your career in 2 years or 5 years. Some don't learn everything in their career in 10 years. Granted, those are those people. I'm not saying that's you. But you're still relatively new in your career and you still have to, I guess, get your footing and plant your roots. It's okay for you to not know everything. It's okay for you to ask questions. Just because you don't know everything and ask questions does not mean you're incompetent. It just means you don't have expertise in this particular field. And that's okay. That's not a ding on your intelligence. That's not a ding on your self worth. And that's not a ding on you as a person, as a professional, as whatever you want to identify yourself as. So it's all right for you to not know everything. I think the best advice I can give you is, even though your imposter syndrome might not necessarily go away, I think there's a good comfort in you bettering your skill and just doing the very best you can, because that's all we can do. Whenever we wake up, whenever we go to work, or whenever we pursue a hobby, such as I'm doing here, all we can do is just take it each day at a time, learn as much as we can, and try to improve on our skills, try to better our skill, and try to improve our craft. That's all we can do. There's no way we're ever going to know everything, even in a particular field. It's very difficult for you to know every single facet of that field. However, we can strive to know more and more each day. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay to strive to know more and more each day. Would it be great if you had all the answers? Of course. Of course, it would be great to have all the answers. Of course, it would be great to be that go to person that everyone on the team can rely on. That would be great. However, there's also a joy in collaboration. And you not knowing something and your coworker knowing about something, they tell you, and then in turn you tell them. And frankly, I think that's how we were able to get here as a species. Us just collaborating, coming in front of each other, being humble and saying, I don't know how to do this. However, I'm really good at this. So let's exchange. Let's see how we can merge this together, or let's see how you can help me and I can help you, and we can make a better world. But yeah, that is a tall order. But yeah, seriously, don't worry about it. You're only 25. You're 2 years into your career. Just be confident in what you've accomplished so far and try to take it one step at a time each day. If each day you go into the office trying to learn something new, or try to better your skill, or try to learn more about your work environment, I think that's the best. I think that's the best, because there's some people who don't even give a damn about it. So I think you being open-minded, open-hearted, willing to learn, and willing to share your expertise is the best thing you can, is the best thing you can do, and it is an awesome thing to bring to the table. All right. So we're gonna take a break right now and come back with the second story of the episode. All right, we are back with the second story of the episode, and the title is Am I Overthinking What My Girlfriend Said? Well, it's very direct. So let's just dive in. I'm 21 and I'm writing in regarding my girlfriend, a 20-year-old woman. So, for context, both of us have been dating for almost 6 months now. Things have been good, and I am really loving this girl, and vice versa. We communicate well, and we've had our occasional run of fights, but we always sort it out. So before this relationship, she had an ex who was her current best friend. They broke up because of personal reasons, and now they remain best friends. I'm not insecure about the friendship because he's a good guy and a great support system for her, and I do want her to have it without me as well. Parentheses, same goes for me. Yesterday we were both sleeping on call, and she told me she wanted a boyfriend who waited for her for like 4 to 5 years, and I was like, huh? What do you mean? And she was like, she wanted something out of the movies. And she said she wanted someone who could wait for her even after 4 to 5 years. Parentheses, as she'll be seeing other people, but that person will still be waiting for her. Now, here's the thing, her best friend was like this. He waited for almost the same time when she was dating someone else and kept his feelings secret. And they finally dated after this time period. So my response was, how can we do that if we've already started dating? And she suddenly feels bad, and she changed the subject. Now I'm so confused about what to feel. On one hand, I can't help but feel a tiny bit insecure, but I feel it's a dumb feeling. On another, I'm so confused about how to react to this. What do I even do? Have fun. Seriously, have fun. My advice is have fun. It doesn't seem like your girlfriend is in it for the long haul. I mean, if you're not, great. You two can just have fun together, but it doesn't seem like she's in it for a long haul. She wants to keep having fun and date around as many guys as she wants, which I understand, diversity, okay. But she wants you or any of the guys to wait for her until she's ready to, I guess, make up her mind that she's going to be exclusive to you. Your girlfriend's a bit immature, okay? And I don't really for her. She's 20. My advice here, whenever someone is 20, is always your 20s are years of exploration. She's literally 20 years old. I mean, it's good that you guys are in a relationship, but just have fun. I all I'm gonna tell you is have fun, because if you invest too much in this on if you invest too much in this relationship, you might find yourself in a place that you won't like. So for example, if you're in this relationship for the long haul, I would suggest you just quietly try to exit. I know people don't like it, but just gonna go back from the beginning. Because I think a lot of reasons why a lot of people get confused out here in the dating scene is because no one wants to be intentional in the beginning. They feel like it's too intense to ask what are your plans or where do you see us going. They feel like it's too intense. They just want to take it casually, just blase, just going with the flow, take it casually. However, if you are not intentional in the beginning of your relationship, you will find yourself in a place where one partner is like, I'm in la la land and I want to have fun, whereas you are there trying to have a solid relationship. So this is not necessarily for you because, again, you're 21. Explore. It's okay. Have fun with this girl. And if it doesn't work out, learn what you can from this relationship, learn how you communicate in this relationship, learn what you value in a partner in use this relationship as a learning lesson, and then move on to the next one. I know some people won't like it, but oh well. But yes, so for someone who is this is why I always advise you have to be intentional when you start dating, and especially in the beginning before you even meet someone. You have to be intentional about what you're looking for in a partner, and if you're dating to maybe go down the line of a union can just be you being partnered up with this person, not necessarily marriage. Are you dating with those intentions, or are you dating to just see where it goes? If you're dating with the intention of eventually coming to union with someone, don't go out and pretend like you're just seeing where it goes. Don't do that. You are going to get hurt. That whole way it goes does not work. That is why you need to be intentional, especially with yourself, so that, and I'm not saying on the first date berate the person and be like, where do you see us in 5 years? Don't do that. When I mean intentional, you have to be intentional with your own self. Where do you want, why are you out in the dating scene? Are you out in the dating scene for just for casual fun, or are you out in the dating scene to eventually form a union and a partnership with someone? What are your goals? And then once you go out into the dating scene, assess everyone based on those lenses. If someone fits the criteria of you will potentially have fun with them, or maybe they're just in the criteria of a union, you move accordingly. On the second day, this is when you can ask more deep conversation. I don't think you necessarily have to have deep conversations on the first day. I know it works for some people. Other people are repelled by that. They're like, this is too intense for me. But on the first day is just assessment. You're just assessing how are they, how would they fit in my life. Do they seem like a good person? Does it look like I will be a good fit for them? I know we never think of that, but that is also a big deal. And then on the second day, that's where you can be more forthright and say, and always try to word it in I statements. You are you, the person you was dating, you are looking for a partnership, or you're dating for this intention. And if the other person is like, well, I'm not really in that mind frame right now, I'm just having fun, casual, they're not the one for you. But they're not the one for you, and you need to cut that day. I don't care how good looking they are. I don't care how smart they are. I don't care how you feel like they are your other half, or the male version of you, or the female version of you. You cut it right there. their goals and your goals are not aligned. You guys are on two separate planes. Yes, they're a nice person. Yes, they're caring, charming, supportive, but your goals are different. You're never going to come together if your goals are on separate planes, literally parallel to one another. You're not going to come together. So, that's why it's important for you to be intentional about why you're dating. After that, cut it off with that person. Thank them for the date. Thank them for the time you spent together. And just tell them it's not going to work for you because, again, you are dating with the intention of being in union, not for the intention of being fun. A mature person is going to respect that. Immature people are going to call you every single thing in the book. That is when you thank God for avoiding a bullet. Okay? That is when you thank God for avoiding a bullet and you just move on to the next date. But yes, I think you don't really need to I don't really think you need to be that intentional in your 20s because I think your 20s are for fun. But if you potentially see this relationship as something that will go the distance, potentially become a union, then you need to talk to your partner about this, especially if this is becoming a worry and insecurity for you. If you see this girl down the line as your forever partner, whatever that means to you, then you need to have a real conversation with her about this, about how you don't really like this approach that she has to dating where the person is waiting for her while she still goes out there and has fun. And you need to um ask her to explain what she means by that. Some people are going to be dodgy about this because now they're realizing, oh, this is a bad thing. And if they were in a reverse situation, they probably would be asking the same question as you. So this is a conversation for you to have. Don't run away from this conversation. This is definitely a conversation for you to have. And at the end of that conversation, you can make up your mind whether this is a relationship you want to keep going into just for fun, casual, no big deal, or if this is a relationship that you just want to end and try to find that partner who is on the same path as you. But I hope I'm able to give you clarity and I hope that makes sense. And I'm sorry if I just kept looking down because my microphone has been acting up and would just go off without me knowing. So I've been glancing down a bit more than usual. Yes, that's what's happening. We're going to take a break right now and come back with the third and last story of the episode. All right, we are back with the third and the last story, and the title is How Do I Deal with My Best Friend's Issues with Money? Don't deal with it, but I'll try to be unbiased and just dive in. I've known my best friend since we were 4 year olds. As adults, we are mostly still super close, except for I got a job that pays me very well and she's still working in the food industry. Because of this difference, I don't mind paying for things sometimes. She often says she's quote unquote so poor, and I want her to have fun and enjoy the things we do together, so I'll get dinner and whatever without thinking twice. The issue is that despite her saying she's so poor, she's constantly spending money on herself, usually shopping or buying expensive items. And that's fine. The issue is that she doesn't question my spending. She doesn't question my spending more money of the two of us when we're together. And even when I ask her point blank, are you okay to split this? She says yes, and I'll Venmo request her, and she just won't pay my Venmo request. I don't want to lose this friendship and I want to be both empathetic and communicative here. I also don't want to have to chase her down for money every single time. Say, actually, I don't feel comfortable doing this because she won't pay. Parentheses, since financially I could. Any advice would be helpful. You need to be comfortable saying you don't feel comfortable paying for this. That's about it. This is not necessarily a deal breaker, but stop paying for your meals together. You don't have to go out with her. It's okay. You guys can go to a picnic or you can go to her house and or she comes to your house. You don't have to go out. It's okay for you to meet her at her financial level. And I would give you this advice if you were in a relationship with this person. I know you want her to experience every single thing. You've been friends together for 4 years. I can imagine your sisters at this point. I get it. However, you can't keep funding her life. especially when she's using her money for what she prioritizes. And I'm afraid to say this, but outings with you doesn't seem like a priority to her. I don't know if it's because you voiced that you have more money now and you're able to cover the bill, but she's just not putting in a lot of effort. And it's unfortunate, and you need to be comfortable saying you're not comfortable doing this. She needs to understand she's putting you in a very tight space. Yes, you may have the money to do this occasionally, but not every time. You're not a bank. Okay? You need to come out and tell her you are not a bank. You can cover sometimes. However, other times you're gonna need her to split the bill and stop Venmoing her. If you need to tell the waiter, split the check, split the damn check. You don't have to pick up the whole tab. You can tell the waiter to split the check. And you need to let her know you're not comfortable with this. At this point in time, you can't buy for your meal and her meal. And yes, you still love her as a friend and as a sister, and you're gonna be there for her, but she can't rely on you every single time. It's also a lot on you, and it's taking a huge toll on you. You need to communicate with her. And I don't think this is necessarily a deal breaker, like I've said. Sometimes our friends, even though even good people, this also happens to good people, all right? Sometimes we just think, well, since she has this financial surplus, she has this money, she won't mind doing this for me or doing that for me. And it's not necessarily from a bad place. It's just, well, if you're willing to help your friend out, you would. Just like I'm sure for her, if she's willing to help you out, she would. So using that logic, I'm not saying your friend is necessarily using you, but you need to be comfortable enough to tell her you value her as a friend, you love her in your life, but you two need to find a common ground when it comes to this, because you cannot be in charge of the finances every single time you go out together. You need her to pull her own weight. It's taking a toll on you. And you need to come out and be forthright. And if she's a good friend, she's gonna listen to you. But yeah, just communicate with her. And I know it's difficult and I know it's hard, and money matters is never an easy topic. So I don't have a clear, cut and dry way to tell you how to go about it, but it's just be open, tell her what's happening, and tell her you're not comfortable covering her meal every single time. Maybe occasionally, but not every single time. And if in times where you can't cover her meal, you just visit her house, you talk, or she visits your house, you talk, then that's okay. You don't have to take her on an experience every single time. But in times when you can't, you can just have a house visit. That's fine. House visits are great. But yes. All right, so that is it for this episode. Please let me know what you thought in the comment section below. We love reading your comments. And you can always send us your story on our Gmail account, which is kitchentableadvice@gmail.com. That's where we get some of our stories as well as business inquiries. So thank you so much for spending your day with us, and we see you next week. Bye.